Have you ever seen a face in a crowd that felt oddly familiar, even though you know you've never met them? Or, B. You've had a dream about a complete stranger. What if I told you that this unsettling feeling might be the result of a strange and fascinating psychological experiment? It's a story that blurs the line between reality, memory, and the power of suggestion. It's called The Face You Can't Forget, and it's a real head-scratcher. Imagine this. You volunteer for a simple psychology study. You're led into a quiet, dimly lit room and told to stare at a screen. For just one single second, a face flashes before your eyes. It's not clear, though. The image is deliberately blurred, indistinct, like a memory you can't quite grasp. The features are ambiguous, the expression unreadable. After that 1 second, it's gone. The researchers thank you, you sign some papers, and you leave. Simple, right? You probably wouldn't even think twice about it. But then, something strange starts to happen. A day or two later, you're walking through a busy shopping mall. Out of the corner of your eye, you see it, that face, the blurred face from the lab. It's just a fleeting glimpse of a stranger in the crowd, but the resemblance is uncanny. You shake your head, thinking it's just a coincidence, but then it happens again. You're on the bus, and you see the face in the reflection of the window. Later that week, you're watching a movie, and a background actor seems to have the exact same features. It gets weirder. The face starts appearing in your dreams. It's not a nightmare, not necessarily, it's just there, a silent observer in the landscape of your subconscious. You start to feel like you're being haunted. You mention it to a friend, who thinks you're just being paranoid, but you know what you saw. This is exactly what happened to every single volunteer in the study. Without exception, every participant reported seeing the blurred face again and again in their daily lives. In crowds, in reflections, on TV, and in their dreams. So, what was going on? Was this some kind of collective hallucination? A paranormal event, or something else entirely? The truth is both simpler and far more profound. It all comes down to how our brains are wired. Our brains are incredible pattern recognition machines. They are constantly trying to make sense of the world, to find familiar patterns in the chaos of sensory information we receive every second. Think about it. You see faces in clouds, in the grain of a wooden door, or in the front of a car. This phenomenon is called pareidolia. Our brains are so primed to see faces that they will create them even where they don't exist. Now, let's go back to the experiment. The key was the blurred image. The face wasn't a specific person's face. It was a composite, an amalgamation of features designed to be as generic and nondescript as possible. It was a blank slate. When the volunteers were shown this ambiguous face for just 1 second, their brains were given a new, unfinished pattern. The researchers essentially planted a seed of an idea. The instruction was simple. Look at this face. This act of focusing, even for a moment, told the brain, this is important. Remember this. But what was this? It was a vague, undefined facial structure. So, the brain, with its new mission to find this important face, started scanning the world. And because the template was so generic, it could be projected onto countless real faces. Any stranger with vaguely similar proportions, any fleeting reflection, could momentarily fit the template. Think of it like this. If I tell you not to think about a pink elephant, what's the first thing that pops into your head? A pink elephant. The experiment worked on a similar principle, but in a more subtle, visual way. It created a search image in the volunteers' minds. Their brains were now actively looking for a match, and since the criteria were so broad, they found matches everywhere. It's a powerful demonstration of the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, or the frequency illusion. Once you learn about something new, you start seeing it everywhere. You buy a new red car, and suddenly you see red cars all over the road. They were always there, but now your brain is primed to notice them. The dream part is particularly fascinating. Dreams are our brain's way of processing information, consolidating memories, and working through emotions from the day. By introducing this persistent, unresolved visual puzzle, the experiment gave the subconscious mind something new to chew on. The face became a symbol, a piece of unresolved data that the dreaming brain was trying to categorize and make sense of. It wasn't a ghost, it was a file that hadn't been properly saved. This experiment reveals so much about the suggestibility of the human mind. It shows how a simple suggestion, a single image, can fundamentally alter our perception of reality. It didn't involve any trickery or complex manipulation. All it did was leverage the natural tendencies of our own brains against us. The volunteers weren't going crazy. Their brains were just doing their job too well. They were trying to solve a puzzle that was designed to be unsolvable. So, what's the big takeaway from the face you can't forget? It's a powerful reminder that what we see isn't always a pure reflection of the outside world. Our perception is an active process shaped by our expectations, our memories, and the suggestions we encounter. The brain doesn't just record reality like a camera, it constructs it. It fills in the blanks, connects the dots, and creates a narrative that makes sense to us. And in the case of this experiment, it created a ghost. A ghost made not of ectoplasm, but of neurology. A phantom born from a single, blurred photograph and the incredible, and sometimes fallible, power of the human brain. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many of the familiar strangers we see are just echoes of a forgotten image? How much of what we experience is reality, and how much is a story our own minds are telling us? Next time you see a face that jogs a memory you can't quite place, maybe it's not a past life or a long-lost friend. Maybe it's just your brain trying to complete a pattern, trying to solve the puzzle of a face you can't forget. It's a slightly unsettling, but ultimately amazing, testament to the complex and mysterious machine running inside our skulls. Thanks so much for hanging out and exploring this mind-bending topic with me. If you enjoyed this journey into the quirks of the human brain, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content just like this. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you ever experienced something like this? Let me know down below. Until next time, stay curious.